fact that he was also chairman of NASCOM and founded the book, and definitely it's going to be a very good value for everybody, including the experienced professionals in the industry. And it's an abbreviated word for value. I think it was very interesting, and I really appreciate being in the startup group. We talk about values, and same thing with Mr. Murugappan. Also, we talk about a lot of values from being this fantastic group of Murugappa group. So we all talk about values. I think we'd like to hear from Dr. BVR Reddy. I think that also the concern for people is really coming out, which probably would like you to share, sir. It's very important to build a company from scratch and make it a $1 million empire. I think a lot of stories are there. I don't want to take too many stories here, but contribution to the society in terms of CSR, and the fact that I think the people, fact that we knew people by name. I think it's an amazing story. I was really touched by that. It is what all of us try to practice or should practice. I think it's a lesson learned for every company, every startup as well, to cultivate the people and the culture. And a lot of passion is really coming out of the book. I think a few things I always admired in very successful professionals or entrepreneurs or businessmen is the passion and energy, which is what makes a lot of difference, because the energy translates to other employees as well. And I feel it's a real handbook for startups, and the amount of one is the amount of effort it takes to build things and the value system that need to be built. And on the top, I think over a coffee, I think we just had a chat. I would like him to talk about he became a chairman and he gave his executive roles to his successor. How did he let it go, right? And normally we would be, I think we'd like to talk about it, I'd like him to talk about it. Same thing with Mr. Murugappan, he's also done it. So I think two veterans who can talk about it probably. It's a nice story for us to hear. And I think the end of the day, you realize in the book, when you read, you're very sure that he's seen it all, done it all, but still miles to go feeling. I think that's the way I put it. And he's achieved a lot, and a lot of contentment is seen, but still he wants to go to the next milestone, contribute to the startup, mentorship, etc. I think with a doyen like Mr. Murugappan as non-executive chairman for him, I think I'm sure you would have had a lot of good, you'd have served as a good, great sounding board, I should say, for you at multiple things. Mentor, yeah. So I think, I think, sir, we are eager to hear, like all of them here, as well as on people online, to know about the journey and the success, and also hear from Mr. Murugappan all his thoughts and entrepreneurship, being a doyen himself, and how probably a good chat with Mr. Dr. Reddy will really make all of us learn a lot. I once again welcome all the distinguished guests and thousands of viewers from all over the globe watching this program live. Wishing you all a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh. As was mentioned, the MMA is indeed blessed and privileged to work to outstanding business leaders this evening to share their insights. I think we are all privileged. You are all privileged to listen here, and many viewers who are watching the program will be privileged and to go to another 1 hour of exciting insight for you on various issues connecting with business, with personal life, and many more. It's now my proud privilege to introduce the distinguished chairman for this evening. Very rarely I get a chance to introduce Mr. Murugappan, and Murugappan is the chairman of Carborundum Universal Ltd, popular known as QME, and is a 4th generation member of Murugappa family, and now serves as the chairman of the Carborundum, as I mentioned to you earlier. And Murugappan is also chairman on the board of Cyient Ltd, Hyderabad, and independent director of Carson and Sri Lanka. He is also retired from the board of Mahindra & Mahindra in August 20, after serving for multiple terms. He is also served on the board of governors of IIT Madras for 6 years till November 2011, and enabled many industry academia partnership. And you know, IIT Madras is one of the leading industry academia partners in the field. He now serves on the board of IIT Madras Research Park and is a mentor of many companies incubated there. Murugappan holds a bachelor degree in chemical engineering from AG College Technology, University of Madras, and master's degree in chemical engineering from University of Michigan. That's where he met our dear Dr. BVR Mohan Reddy. They spent some wonderful time as a college students. I'm quite sure we'll share some anecdotes of those young days and what did you do and what are the issues you did when you were away from the family. It will be very interesting, good lesson for today's young leaders. He was a member of the American Indian Institute of Chemical Engineering, Plastics, and he was also elected fellow member of Indian Ceramic Society in 2006. Very warm welcome to Murugan. It's a pleasure. We have the privilege of introducing author of the book and also distinguished speaker for this evening. Will be sharing his insight what is penned down in his book. Dr. BVR Mohan Reddy, author and is founder and chairman of Cyient. Mohan Reddy was a visionary who firmly placed India on the global engineering research development services map by establishing Cyient, formerly Infotech Enterprises, in 1991. He went on to create Engineered India brand and led Cyient to contribute 6.5 billion cumulative exports from India to several global clients, including Fortune 100 companies. Dr. Reddy served as chairman of NASCOM and also served as a CA Southern Region, CA Education Council, many more interesting group organizations. He is currently the chairman on the board of governors of IIT Hyderabad, IIT Roorkee. He is a member of the leadership advisory board of LAD and University of Michigan College of Engineering. Dr. Reddy has received India's 4th highest civilian award, Padma Shri in 2017. That's a big round of applause for Padma Shri. And also got the Distinguished Leadership Award of the American Society of Mechanical Engineering. Dr. Reddy is a postgraduate degree from IIT Kanpur and also University of Michigan, as I mentioned earlier. He's both studied together in Michigan. That's where they met 44 years back, 1976 again. Very warm welcome, Mohan Reddy. I once again thank you for choosing MMA to come and discuss the theme of your book. As I said, mentioned, the format is after the conversation, you open for questions and over to Mr. Ugappan and carry forward.
Years, but it seems like yesterday. And our friendship grew from our time at university. But what was most important in our friendship is that there was something that we saw in terms of the chemistry that brought us together. Mohan was a student of industrial and operations engineering at the University of Michigan, whereas I read chemical engineering, which was in 1976. And I got to know Mohan first as my tutor, because I had to take an elective course in industrial engineering. And the only way I could crack that subject would have Mohan as my tutor. And then from his tutelage began a friendship which has lasted so long, and a friendship which is now almost family. And it's really an honor and privilege for me to have met Mohan that many years ago and then continue. And I've lived Mohan's dream. I've had the privilege, the rare honor and unique privilege of living history. And I must now leave it to Mohan to share this dream with you, because I see a wonderful cross-section of people, ranging from active members of the MMA, some outstanding professionals, a lot of students, young people, and I'm sure they have many questions for you, Mohan. But more importantly, let me ask you my first question. You know, in all our lives, everyone here in the room and listening to this, there's always been some defining moments in our lives. What were those defining moments in your life, and how did it impact you?
Well, thank you, Guru. It's honestly my honor to share the platform with you, to have you as the moderator. As Mr. Ugappan said, our relationship is 47 plus years old now. We continue to have the same warmth towards each other. Look forward to meet each other, to share our thoughts together. And I have to confess to all of you that Mr. Murugappan's mother, Mrs. Seethamma, literally treats me like another son for her. So grateful to her. So everybody in the family does the same to me. So thank you, Muru, again for the great warmth and affection that you show to me and my family. I also like to thank MMA, Suresh, Raman, and Big Commander Vijay Kumar for inviting me this evening. And especially Suresh, Raman, the way in which he went and introduced me today. Extremely kind and generous of you, Suresh. Thank you very much. Thank you to ugappan, Big Commander Vijay Kumar. Having said that, let's move on to the topic of what we're talking about. What are those defining moments in life? I'm sure every one of you have one of those defining moments of life, and especially I think for all of us, mothers have a very important role to play in our lives, and so was my mother too. And the very specific incident I narrate in my book too is that I was in class 7. Probably 11, 12 years old, and I got my marks. I used to be fairly good at the extracurricular activities, but when I got the mark sheet, I was so scared to show it to my mother. I hid it for a while, but that wouldn't last for too long. She was smart enough to find where I could hide things too. So when she saw my marks, she was furious actually. And she said, look, this is not acceptable to her any longer. And she said finally that the choice I had was that if I didn't perform well at the end of the year, the choice I had was that she will send me off to the village where I can go and join my paternal grandfather, who was a farmer. I used to go and spend summer holidays with them, so I used to understand how difficult it is to live in a village with just about the time God power actually. The electricity came around that time, 61, 62. And she said something else too further. She said, when the sister can do so well in the school, I have a sister who's elder to me by a year. She's become a medical doctor. She said, why not you? This is the girl versus boy competition. That was very, very concerning to me. I couldn't sleep that night. I thought I was really scared, saying that she probably would send me to the village and I have to go back and live in that place. And then I started slowly studying my sister. What does she do that I don't do? She was very studious and she was very hardworking. I said, why not me? If you look at these two qualities too, every one of you have the same. It's possible for every one of us to do the same. So I started saying, look, why don't I do the same? And one led to the other, where I started slowly discovering, saying that, look, if I do better, I compete with myself to say I do better and better. That's how it's a very positive, vicious circle that goes on. You do good, you want to do better, you want to do better, that's what goes on. So that, what led me is basically what I keep saying is I was in pursuit of excellence. I constantly was saying, I have to be the best. It's become such a mania in my mind. Even, pardon me, I can give you a mundane example. Even before I wear a shirt and a pant, I will examine it if there's extra force on there. And I will shamelessly take an iron and a board and iron it off before I wear it. Nothing wrong, absolutely. You want to look good. You're not hurting anybody. So this attitude which says, I want to be the best, it thereafter translated itself into business too. To be starting off as a professional, I spent about 9 years literally as a full-time professional. There I had as a semi-entrepreneurial life, working with the Tata Group, a company called Voltas, and then, of course, jumping full-fledged into entrepreneurial journey. I think one of the most defining moments in my life, Guru, is that incident that happened with my mother, where I think, that changed the whole of my life. And the second one that I recall is all about that around the time when I finally decided to become an entrepreneur. This entrepreneurial bug caught me very early in my life. And one of the things that I also think about is, what's the purpose of our life? Why are we here? We'll come to that in a little later. But that was the one which turned me around to say, one evening, I sat all by myself and said, look, I've thought about it for too long. I've been working for 18 years now, and the environment was changing. I was turning 40, the energy levels are likely to go down. The family continues to be very supportive. And so therefore, a big leap in faith that I had in myself, I said, let me jump and become an entrepreneur, take the risks in life. That's the second moment that comes, which translated my life. Third, I'm sure you wouldn't feel embarrassed about it. You made a lot of difference to my life, Guru. Trust me. I think, I was a blessed man. 47 years back, I met with you, and this is why I was correcting Wing Commander, saying that Mr. Ugappan is my mentor. He is much younger to me. So please do not think your mentors need to be elder to you. Age does not give wisdom to people. You can even learn from younger crowd. So I will stop there. These are 3 things.
Thank you for keeping me young. At the moment at my age, no one else is going to give me a job. So, Mohan, nowadays, lots of young people, and we have plenty of young people here who perhaps have aspirations as well. You chose to pursue an entrepreneurial dream at 40. Did you assess your risks at that time?
Yes, Guru, I did, and I write about it in my book too. I come from a middle-class family. My father was a police officer. My mother was a homemaker. Very honest police officer, so there was not so much of money at home compared to what I keep hearing about stories of the recent past, leaving that apart. But I had this ambition, a dream to become an entrepreneur. As soon as I graduated, I used to think, I have to be the master of myself. I need to do something to contribute to this world. So that was the ambition that was there. But given the background that I had, there was one major limitation that came in was that I didn't have enough of money to start a business, to take the risk. Like any other parents, even in the current environment we live, you want your children to be well settled, get a job, retire in life. That's what we all look forward to. Many people look forward to. That's it, because the social net is not all that strong. So therefore, what transpired is that I had to wait for a while, to create some amount of wealth for myself. The second one is, I also, I'm sure, belong to the same similar age group, that in the 1970s and the 80s, it was still a tremendous amount of licensed Raj. And it was not technology, what was it at this point in time. So what was the ideas that were absolutely centered around is the brick and mortar companies. One company that I actually dabbled almost getting into it, good fortune I didn't do it, was that I was joining as a partner in the 3-wheeler automobile in 1980 it was. 1980, around that time. So all of these required a lot more amount of capital. So I lacked capital. I thought I lacked experience for a brick and mortar company. And so therefore I had to wait my time before I said, I got the experience now. And then we talked about the risks that I had to do. I did assess what the risks are, and certainly, my wife, Suchi, said, well, Suchi was also having concerns whether is this the right thing to do. And certainly I built that little economic, social net to make sure that she would become fairly economically safe. And I came and bought a property in Chennai. And Suresh would be very surprised and rented it out to TCS. TCS was my tenant. And And I told, I promised my wife saying that I will not touch this rental income for you. So you will be safe for life if you continue to rent it out for these years. Fortunately, 20 years they rented that premises to us. And so that was the one we said we accept the risk, and we said now I can plunge into it. Because the opportunities also were plenty at that point. So it was financially being stable, opportunities being plenty. So which made me think that, I'm not putting anybody else's life at risk, because I also had this two growing up children at this point in time.
Excellent. So there was this element of a very typical South Indian conservatism, as well as a high aspiration and perhaps a courage and a conviction. But soon, as you develop your business, and I know that having been part of it, and I see that also Ashok is here, who's also been part of it for a long time, is that you so chose at a fairly early stage to go public.
Yes.
Like,
maybe the hindsight tells me that was one of the wrong decisions I made. I wanted to raise money at that point of time because we started off with a very small capital. The capital was 20 lakhs of my personal money. I had, as money that I could invest in the company, two friends gave me two $10,000 checks. At that point in time, dollar rupee parity was 25 rupees. So each one of them got 2.5 lakhs of rupees for the $10,000, both were NRIs. So that was 25 lakhs. I borrowed 97 lakhs from IDing. I'll tell you the story a little later. So my project cost was 1 crore 22 lakhs and all. That's what it was. So fairly quickly by 1997, 1998, we started thinking that it was important that we raised capital. And somehow I got the impression that the most low risk capital was the public issue. And my financial advisor, a very brilliant young man called Mahesh Madhuri, said, this is the last chance for you to go public because this is just after the Harshad Mehta scam. And I said, at least for the next 2 years to 3 years, they wouldn't allow any company to go public. That's what they do. And maybe it was, hindsight tells me after waiting for a little long, no other reason, but I think I've diluted myself a little early. But that was the key driver. We wanted to expand the business, raise money. Engineering was still not there. We said, let's go invest that money. And that's how the trigger was.
interesting. And that's why Mohan invited me to be on this board. And I had to get a clearance from the senior people in my family, and I did not know because I was already on the Mahindra board and whether I. But I've seen the company grow over time. And first it started off with just a
very conscious move for us to transform ourselves on a continuous basis. When we started, my lifelong dream is to build engineering products. I'm a mechanical engineer by training. I always loved to see things. I had an opportunity even to get electronics branch at some point in time in my life, but I never did my degrees in electronics. So it was mechanical which drove me, and so therefore mechanical was very centered around engineering. So the ambition to drive in life was to be engineering, to do engineering as a service. But you also have seen, Guru, over a period of time further, that we continue to transform ourselves. It's not just from digitization services to engineering services, but thereafter we moved up the value chain in terms of providing product engineering services to people, or probably getting down to providing solutions to customers, or now even the new strategy of design-led manufacturing. There's a quote that I have in my book from Louis Carrier. It says, if you run fast enough, you're where you are. You just need to run faster than that. That's the only thought that crosses my mind all the time, saying that, you're doing very well, man, but where are you? Exactly where you are in the last few years. So you need to run faster than what you did. And as a part of that strategy, if you look at it, it was also saying that you have to move up the value chain to ensure that you have a competitive advantage compared to the rest of the people. That's how we transformed us as digitalization to engineering and so on.
Wonderful. And you did something which was quite unique at that point in time. Even I was skeptical at one point in time, where Mohan, you chose to invite some key customers into the shareholding.
Yes.
And we had this conversation, is that will it be a conflict of interest? And what did you do?
But you encouraged him. You said, Mohan, take a chance.
But I said to you to take the chance, because I also had a fiduciary responsibility. And but you chose to bring some customers as part of the shareholding. And yet, we worked with other clients who could potentially be competitors to these customers. And therefore, there was something in it where those shareholder customers saw, which was not in conflict with them.
So there are two things, Muru. One is that why did customers in the company was 15%? We had our own doubts, whether what Mr. Ugappan just now alluded to. Well, will they come and interfere with the work? They will look at our pricing structure, the margins, will they put the pricing pressure, etc. We said, look, so long as we can guard that, that's one challenge that we'll have. The second challenge is, will this also block any of their competitors to come to us? So we said, there are ways and means by which we can address that. But I think the big upside that will come is that once they become a part of investor in the company, they will certainly have a greater commitment to us. And the hindsight tells us that was an amazing decision we did. 15% of the company given to them. The customer still continues to be in our top, continues to be our top customer. 1,000 people engagement with $100 million revenue year after year. Literally, this is like an annuity that comes to us. So the decision was foolproof. Because further, if you look at it, we went and convinced the customer saying that, look, Chinese walls, that we had their competitors coming and working with us. I was usually thanking him one day for that, how he helped me in terms of building this business. It's an open conversation to us. And he said, Mohan, you get everything wrong all the time. I said, why? He said, you don't know me too well. I said, why? He said, look, I made money twice over. He said, by getting you as an offshoring partner, certainly what we have seen is that I just not saved, I saved 2/3 of the money I paid to you. That's literally the math that he had. That if it is, you're spending $30 in US, you only spend $10 on me, the other $20 for the state. He said, I'm brilliant, brighter than that. I made money twice over because I invested in your company. So there are getting customers. And the point that you made, I'll complete that one, is how did the competitors come to us? Is primarily when they saw value in us. You know that better. So
I think there are two parts. Mohan, as I saw as a board member, you created value in terms of capability of the company. But there was also an underlying value system of trust. Therefore, the customers came to us without batting an eye.
Absolutely, yeah. And people keep asking this question, we're saying that what is trust? And we build institutions. We build institutions to last forever. Human beings don't last forever. Founders will not last forever. If one builds a company and it's flourishing all right in his lifetime, like you've seen this in the family too, how they hand over generation after generation. But they like to see the businesses flourish thereafter. So therefore, there is a very clearly succession plan that comes in. So around that time when I was turning 60, I decided, look, I want to see my business successful and sustainable, even without me, before I disappear from this world. Like any one of us, I'll disappear very much faster than many of you around here, or most of you around here. So therefore, I decided that I have to have a succession. Will Cyient have to run one more AI engine now? Because this pattern of answer can be easily found out by an AI engine. A teacher also might find it. They're also very smart. But the fact of the life is that you're showing an easy path for these children, possibly, is a concern. So therefore, the ethical issues are the ones which are concerning. To launch my book, Engineered in India. This book is published by Penguin. It's a business biography of mine for last 30 years in converting my dreams into a $1 billion company, Cyient. So I started when I was 40 years old. I started the company in trying to see with an ambition to build it to be a very successful, sustainable company, and I feel very gratified that at the end of the day that it is a company which is successful and sustainable. The book is in about 16 chapters. The first 9 chapters are chronological in terms of how we build this company brick by brick. The other 7 chapters are more thematic in nature. We make sure that each one of the themes, whether how to raise money, how to build customer confidence, all these are covered in the last 7 chapters. Certainly, the whole intent of writing this book is to inspire and motivate youth of India to become entrepreneurs. There's an enormous amount of need for entrepreneurship in this country, as we see more and more youngsters coming into the workforce in the country. We require more amount of job creators as opposed to job seekers. And that's the reason why that was the inspiration behind writing the book for me. I hope you read the book, enjoy yourself, but more importantly, turn out to be entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thank you.